This one hurts. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, King Dingbat here, and hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. I know me, I haven't really talked at all since I signed off in the Philly Shakedown podcast. I've been really quiet, really kind of down. Of course, the Eagles lost. What are you going to do? But before we get into it, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to the most censored, most throttled Eagles content creator in all of the internet. And if you've been subscribed for a while, just double check. Double moonwalk check. Make sure you're still subscribed. I have a lot of people saying to me, "Hey Philly, are you going to do anything in the offseason? What do you do in the offseason when the Eagles aren't playing?" Listen, you want to subscribe, you want to hang around, because this don't stop. We go all off season. Videos just about every day. There's always something to talk about. Good, bad, or even cowboy ugly. But we always got something going on. So definitely make sure, if you haven't, you guys subscribe. Now, let me first say this. I want to get this out of the way. I want to congratulate the Kansas City Chiefs, the Kansas City Chief fans, on winning the Super Bowl. You were the better team yesterday. You deserve that win. Patrick Mahomes was elite. He is elite. And you beat us fair and square. Andy Reid outcoached the Eagles coaching staff. No question about it. And there's no excuses. There's no this one play or this one thing happened or anything like that. There's a bunch of things that happened that didn't go the Eagles' way. So I want to give the Kansas City Chiefs 100% credit. We're not the Cowboys. We're not the 49ers. We give you credit where credit is due. That doesn't mean we don't talk about things that we thought happened that determine the outcome. But there is no excuses here. Okay? There is none. There is none. The other thing I want to say as we start this video is Jalen Hurts is elite. Jalen Hurts, in the biggest stage, in the biggest game, went out and he was awesome. He was absolutely awesome. I'm going to tell you this right now, okay? Yes, the big mistake that Jalen Hurts had in that game was the fumble. It cost the Eagles 7 points. The way I see it, right or wrong, is I look at it like, yeah, it cost us 7 points. It was horrible. However, we shook it off. We kind of made up for it because we went into the half 14? It was a 10-point game. It was a 10-point game at halftime. So even though Hurts fumbled the ball and they scored a touchdown, it was a 10-point game. Now, it would have been nice if he didn't fumble and it was 24-7. Of course, that would have helped. Would it have changed the game? I don't know. Because the way I see it, the Chiefs, instead of kicking a field goal in that last drive, would have needed a touchdown to tie the game up. So it might have given us an opportunity, another chance. I don't know. But the way I see it, I feel like, yeah, that was a horrible mistake by Jalen Hurts. Something you can't do in the Super Bowl. But they still were up 10 points to the Kansas City Chiefs at half. All right? And let me explain something to other people. Because I know Cowboy fans, Niners fans, and Giant fans are having a field day with this. Marco was making videos about the Eagles all day. You could tell the guy doesn't know what it's like to win. He doesn't know what it's like to be in a Super Bowl because his team loses. I don't care that he saw it 30 years ago. He forgot. He ate too much chicken wings. And he got dumb and forgot. Because he obviously doesn't know what it's like to win. It is hard to win a Super Bowl. And it is hard to get to a Super Bowl. And when you do, you can't let the opportunity pass you by. And the Eagles, unfortunately, let the opportunity pass us by. I thought Jalen Hurts was spectacular. I do. I mean, he gave us a chance to win. And I truly believe if the Eagles would have got him the ball back late in that fourth quarter, right? Because he ties it up 35-35. And basically, you're giving the Chiefs the ball back with like a little over 5 minutes left, right? If you get the ball back at that point, I believe firmly in my heart the Eagles are going out and score a win. Jalen Hurts is going to pull it out. And that's what was so devastating about that James Bradberry call. Because even if the Chiefs would have went up 3 points, there was still a minute 48 left for the Eagles. And I think we had at least one timeout left. So there was plenty of time to at least get in field goal range or possibly win it. And I trust Jalen Hurts would have done that in that situation. But they made the call on James Bradberry. I don't think that's why the Eagles lost the game. The Eagles, in my opinion, did not lose the game because of the Bradberry call. I thought it was a weak call. I thought it was a tic-tac call. I think you could call that play on just about every down. Okay, there's always a play. There's always something you could call. I thought that was a weak call. However, and maybe he technically did hold him. I just thought it was a weak call. At that point, I think you're in the Super Bowl. At that point, let him play. But that's not why the Eagles lost. The Eagles lost this game because the defense could not get one stop in the second half. You couldn't get one stop. You get one stop, you probably win the game. Okay, but they couldn't. The Chiefs, I don't even know if Mahomes threw an I'm serious. I think he threw like 1 or 2 incompletions the whole second half. All right? And this takes me back to Jonathan Gannon. Because, yes, there were players out there and they were slipping and there was field condition was bad, all that stuff. I've heard it all. But to me, it goes back to Jonathan Gannon. Because my fear going into the season, my number one concern was Jonathan Gannon. Okay? And then I really started to buy into this whole narrative that the Jonathan Gannon theory that once he got to the playoffs, he was going to get aggressive. And you saw they were aggressive against the Giants. You saw they were aggressive against the 49ers. There was no aggressiveness versus the Chiefs. You know, it's like when it comes to these elite quarterbacks, these guys like Patrick Mahomes, Jonathan Gannon always gives them way too much respect. And he backs off. He's not aggressive with them. And to me, just rushing 4 was not cutting it. You knew guys weren't getting home, and they did nothing to adjust. You had your corners 7-8 yards off. It made no sense to me at all, especially when Mahomes looked like he re-aggravated his ankle. Like, why would you not come out in the second half and start testing it out? Start hitting him. Start blitzing him. Start doing things like that. The Chiefs didn't go long, I don't think, the whole game. But we're so concerned about giving up the big play that we die by 1,000 paper cuts. This has been the problem with Jonathan Gannon. This has been my problem with him. I don't think he's a dumb coach or necessarily a bad coach. I just think that he's not aggressive enough sometimes. And he was not aggressive enough in this game. I think the Eagles, they need a new defensive coordinator. I'm just going to be honest. If I was the Eagles, I would get another defensive coordinator. Because I think you need somebody that has a little more aggressive mentality. When you have corners like Bradberry, when you have corners like Darius Slay, even though he stunk in this game, when you have corners like that, though, you've got to use it to your advantage. You got a defensive line like you do that has 70 sacks in the year. You gotta get to the quarterback. You got to knock Patrick Mahomes off. Did you see his jersey? Did anybody look and see his jersey while he was speaking at the press conference? It was clean. It was clean. It's unacceptable, in my opinion, to ever have an opponent's team wearing their white jerseys and the quarterback to come out of it with not any grass stains or anything on the front of it or dirt. That means he hasn't been hit enough. And they didn't do it. The Eagles lost the game because the defense's inability to get stops in the second half. And that's a product of Jonathan Gannon's inability to make adjustments while the Chiefs, Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, made the adjustments the Chiefs had to make in the second half. They were outcoached, especially their defense. That's why they lost it. They didn't lose it because of Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts showed that he can play in the biggest moment, okay? He did what a guy like Dak Prescott has never done, could never do. Show up in a big game and perform. Carry your team. Jalen Hurts almost carried his team to victory, even with that bad defense. They just needed one more stop. Even if Bradberry doesn't get that penalty, I really think that the Eagles would end up going down and scoring. I really believe it. I thought A.J. Brown played a great game. Devontae Smith, he's a big game player. I told you, he's a big game player. Devontae Smith He had 7 catches, I think 100 yards. I really believe he got robbed on that one catch. I don't believe there's any way on earth they could overturn that. There's no way, in my opinion, they should have overturned that call. He made that great catch. And that's another big moment in the game, because if he catches that ball, then you're down in Chiefs territory with a lot more time. If you come away with 7 instead of 4, this game might have only gone into overtime with that Kansas City Chiefs field goal. And yet it was overturned. So there were things that got away from us. There were mistakes and calls that happened, whether right or wrong. There were certain things that went against us, but at the end of the day, all of that could have been erased. All of that stuff didn't matter if the defense gets one stop, and they didn't get one stop. So this is a hard loss. This is probably, I would say that this is probably this might be the hardest loss I've ever taken. Like, it hurts in my gut just saying it. This is definitely up there with the Eagles versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last game at the Vet, NFC Conference. The second time we were in NFC Conference. It may be up there with them. I think the Eagles need a new defensive coordinator. I think they need a new defensive coordinator. I also think will they get one? I don't know. I doubt it. Unless Gannon takes that job in Arizona, which I will be writing a referral. I can't believe I bought into this. Oh, he turned a corner in the playoffs. I'm sorry. I blame the Chinese spy balloon sending signals to my brain. That's why. Because my ass is killing the shit out of this chair. But I can't believe I do it, because he went right back. He reverted right back in to what caused us problems last year with certain quarterbacks. He did it again. Obviously, he played more aggressive in the Giant and 49ers game because he didn't respect the quarterbacks. But he did respect Patrick Mahomes too much. I mean, you gotta hit Mahomes. You gotta. No blitzes, no stuff. And they did blitz. They did blitz at the 2-yard line. I didn't understand that. Like, why are you blitzing at the 2-yard line? That's when you drop everybody back, because the space to throw a touchdown is a lot harder. It is tough. It is tough. This is a tough one. But I will say this. We have 2 first-round picks. We have the 10th pick overall. We've got an elite quarterback who showed you he can win a Super Bowl. Okay, he has what it takes to win a Super Bowl. You have great wide receivers, a lot of good young pieces. The nucleus for this team is not going anywhere, despite what a lot of people think. Okay, there's a lot of good things in this team. There's some big decisions to make. I think Miles Sanders played himself out of Philly yesterday. I do. Why would I bring him back? In the biggest game, Miles wasn't there. I love Miles Sanders, but I needed him. I needed him yesterday. He didn't show up. I'm not paying him big money. Okay? I'm not going to do it. Bradbury, I would love to have him back. But can you really afford him and Slay? And do you really want Slay back over Bradbury if you could choose one? I mean, there's a lot to talk about. A lot we'll get into. This is just it's a tough game, man. But I tell you this. I love the Eagles. I love this team. I bleed green. And I know that the Cowboy fans, the Whiners, and Giant fans, they're having a field day. Go ahead. Go have at it. We lost. We got to take this one on the chin. We'll dust ourselves off, and we get ready to fight again. We got a lot to do this all season. I'm not going anywhere. I am not stopping in my videos. We got unfinished business. We're going to need a few days to kind of mourn this one. And we got to get ready. Combine's in a couple weeks. Combine is in a couple weeks, and I'll be streaming that live. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. I love yous out there. Thank you for all your support. Don't be a dingbat, remember. It's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. Right here is a letter of recommendation. I gotta go print it up. I gotta go type it out. But I wrote a letter of recommendation for Jonathan Gannon to get hired by the Arizona Cardinals. I think he would be a great head coach. I think he'd be the most amazing guy everywhere. He'll gut the 49ers all the time. I think you should hire him. Please, Cardinals, hire Jonathan Gannon. Denzel Washington out.